The daylight's fading slowly, while dust storms will make time stand still. I'm protecting all my family. From the slightest bit of dust I feel weak. I cannot lie. From dust I cannot hide. And I've lost the will to try and fight it. To fight it, so go on, and hold your breath. Tempt me, take me away from this tiny coughing feeling. Let me long for a full breath. Go on, and hold your breath on and on. Hold Your Breath is a Hulu original from co-directors Carrie Krause and William Jones, and was also written by Carrie. And this stars Sarah Paulson. Her name is Sarah Paulson. Her name is Sarah Paulson. Her name is Sarah Paulson. Imagine if Sarah Paulson had been in Fight Club. That would have been weird. But nevertheless, she plays Margaret Bellum, who is a mother in the Oklahoma Dust Bowl in the 1930s, 1933 specifically. And if you know anything about Oklahoma, Google the Oklahoma dust storms, Google the 1930s, and just look at, God, it is amazing that anybody survived out there. It's also amazing that anybody decided to make a movie out of a short film concept like this. But, I'm kind of tipping my hand already as to how I felt. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not, though. Let me get into the rest of it. So, Amai Miller, who was in War for the Planet of the Apes, and also my best friend's Exorcism. I have to say, I think she could be a bright future star because she's shown potential in those aforementioned movies and does actually try her best here. The thing is, and look, this is the story basically. You have Margaret, you have Rose, you have Ollie. It's Dustin Sideways, not that Ollie, but a younger sister. And also, this family has suffered a little bit of loss. And Henry, the father, has gone off to the east to look for work. I have a question then. Why the fuck would you move your family all the way out to goddamn Oklahoma and then leave them? That seems kind of prickish. Nevertheless, I know that times were tough, and this was in the middle of the Great Goddamn Depression before World War II came around and fixed everything. And caused a lot of other issues. But nevertheless, basically, it is a psychological drama with some horror elements. Essentially, being trapped in this environment. You have a few neighbors. State Farm is not there, because this was the 1930s, and let's just say that there's paranoia running rampant that natives are getting restless. Leave with your heat. Just a little more heat, Ernie. Just a little more heat. And if you get that, there's like 3 people that'll get that reference. But nevertheless, we basically get Sarah Paulson trying to act her ass off, much like she did in Run. And much like Run, there's about this much material for the rest of the goddamn movie. And look, I'm not going to mix words, really. It's very obvious where this whole thing's going. Like, it was obvious where Run was going. And while the acting is okay, the writing is just not up to snuff. I'm not saying that the co-directors and Carrie's the writer, they don't have the ability to make a decent movie. But this wasn't it. This ain't it, Chief. It basically just, there's this gray man story, he can get through the cracks, all this stuff, and the idea the dust could be plaguing you, playing on you, playing on me, dusting on me, ooh baby, baby, we're dusting around, and we're dusting for you. I don't know why I decided to suddenly just start ramping up the musical stuff, just because I can't sing, but I might as well have some fun, because I had a lot of fun watching this. I actually started watching this before I watched Joker, Folie à Deux. Check out my review of that. I certainly had opinions. I'm not going to say they're good ones for anybody that liked it. But anyway, the Oklahoma Trail, while they're going into the northeast. I'm walking here. So, yeah, basically people end up dying. The kids are worried about their mother. The mother's worried about the kids. And from there, we have a psychological drama horror that really doesn't have any of either. It attempts to have atmosphere, which, considering it's on Earth, that's kind of hard not to do. But it also just kind of takes place in a vacuum. Again, kind of funny, given the fact that dust storms hit. It relies too much on, the audience kind of being stupid. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's just, there's only one way it can go. It's not very creative. It's all right as far as acting. They try. Oh my God, do they try. But it's obvious that one of these characters belongs in an institution. And I swear, oh my God, do I swear, that I think we will get a Dust Revolution. Okay, enough songs, enough. So I'm going to get into spoilers here in a bit. It is on Hulu if you want to check it out. Don't get me wrong, I'll take this over Run because there's at least an element of psychological damage and what isolation can do. But isolation horror has been done a lot better. The Wind, in particular. The Wind is really scary. That being said, I am going to get into spoilers on Hulu if you want to check it out. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. So, it's not the Gray Man. It's not this guy, Wallace Grady. Get off my lawn, Grady! It's not this neighbor, Esther, that lost one of her sons in a dust storm and then had her other son taken away by her husband because she's got the lurgy and got the insanity. Nope, it's Margaret. It's Margaret doing all this stuff. There's no... Wallace appears... But the kids are in on the whole goddamn thing. Oh, yes, and Ollie also can't talk. She's a mute. Whatever. They do sign language. Good thing we had captions there, because if we hadn't, I would have been like, all right, she could be telling her we're going to order pizza when we're 40 years old, for all I goddamn know. But, yeah, we have the side character, Wallace Grady. Has he Eben Moss Rack? Ricka, sis, boom, ba, Bugs Bunny, rah, rah, rah. So, he ends up kind of healing the kid because Rose has nosebleeds, as it were. And Margaret's all worried their cow's not producing a whole lot of milk. It happens with women that age. That's mean. It's utterly infuriating for women. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not. And, yeah, Esther's distraught after getting her kids taken away. She basically says, you know, you're going to end up just like me. After Wallace basically gets refused, because it turns out that, you know, Henry gave him this letter, or, you know, this letter got stolen by, you know, this guy Wallace, because he needed money and everything, and he's this faith healer. Well, it turns out there's no Wallace, because Margaret's doing all this stuff. She got letters from her husband, and then proceeded basically to hide the fact because she's gone full-blown crazy. She ends up shooting Esther later during a Dust Bowl scene, one of about 20 million Dust Bowl scenes in this 88-minute movie. And, yeah, there's this one point just before that where they do this dance, and it's obvious that Margaret has full-blown crack. She kind of cuts her leg. We just have to wait till Dad gets home, but we have to go to this dance and pretend that it's like, so everyone knows that we're okay. And then she's not. Then she ends up shooting Esther. And, by the way, oh yes, one of her daughters died, Ada. She got the scarlet fever, not the Don Callis thing. If you get that, you are a big wrestling fan, and you probably hate me for reminding you of it. But, yeah, Ada's grave is there, and that's part of the thing. Margaret's like, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave, you know, my kid here. Your kid's in the ground. Your kid's not there anymore. I've never lost a kid, but whatever. I think the husband maybe realized that he, like, married a cracked woman, but he's like, yeah, maybe I should have taken the kids. Nope, can't take the kids and work. The kids will be fine. So, yeah, after Esther gets killed, Esther's husband shows up, and he's trying to talk to Margaret, but then he ends up getting stabbed, and he dies. Well, Rose ends up grabbing a knife, and she's going to cut her mother like a knife. But then Ollie sees, and she can't show her violent side in front of Ollie. Whatever. So, yeah, suddenly she drops a knife and you think, okay, great, Margaret's going to end up poisoning with medicine, they're going to go to sleep, and then they're going to be with Ada. Can we have medicine in the peaches? Or peaches, you know, with the medicine? Sure. And then, one final trick from Rose. She says, oh my God, Ollie got out and ran out and freaked out in a dust storm. Oh no, we need to be together. And then there's this rope attached to the door handle. And then Rose cuts it with the knife. And then, basically Margaret freaks out and has one last dream of, like, them being in fields of wheat. And she has one last dream sequence and dies. And then the girls go on a train. And they're going to go, I don't know, to see the dad, possibly start a new life. I don't know, and I don't really care. It's not the worst thing I've seen, but it's not good. It's not interesting. The acting's all right, but it can only carry it so far, which is about 20 yards of the 100 yards it needs to complete the whole thing. F. There's potential, it's just not good. Agree, disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Riplin. I'll see you soon.